Hi students, this is Mrs. Delaney. I am one of the ELP teachers at Southview. Welcome to my home. I actually am absent from school today due to jury duty. I would much rather be with you guys, but it is one of our citizens' duties, so I am there instead. So I'm making you this video to introduce you to the health extension that you are going to be coming to the ELP room for the next couple of weeks. Your class is currently in a unit called non-communicable diseases. So if you break that word down, non means not, and communicable means something that you share or communicate. So these are diseases that you do not get from other people. You don't share them with other people. People can't catch them from you. They're diseases like cancer or liver failure, perhaps. They have causes, but they don't get shared. They don't get caught, per se. In your classroom, your classmates are going to be doing research on a specific non-communicable disease, creating a PowerPoint, and then sharing it out with your class. Your teachers felt that you were capable of doing more than that, and so instead you are going to be doing what's called an inquiry lesson with us. So if you break down inquiry, you hear the word inquire, or to ask. So this is going to be a unit based on things that you actually don't know about. You are going to have to ask lots of questions, both of Ms. Akers and I, and of resources on the internet. So what we're going to do is we are going to present you with a patient case file from the medical community. And we know at some point in time that patient that you are going to be looking at their patient file on was diagnosed with some sort of non-communicable disease. Your job is going to be to find out which one. So every day as you come in, it'll be starting with what would be the equivalent of a doctor visit. So you're going to get additional information on this patient. Maybe tests were run, maybe an interview. You'll get additional information. Your job is going to be looking up that information and putting all those pieces of information together, kind of like a puzzle, to see the big picture. And that big picture is going to be, what non-communicable disease should this patient be diagnosed with? And what would the treatment plan for that non-communicable disease be? Okay, so in a lot of ways, you're going to be doing what your classmates are going to be doing. You're going to be researching non-communicable diseases. You're going to be looking up what those symptoms are, how to treat those symptoms. But the difference is that this is not going to be lower order thinking skills. I'm going to be expecting you to think way outside the box and try to pretend that you have the same skill set as a physician. Now, I know you have not gone to medical school, and I get that. Which brings us to task number 1 for the day. Your goal today is going to be looking up different websites on the internet that will act as a warehouse of answers to your questions. You're going to be looking at websites such as WebMD or MayoClinic.com, where they have a plethora of diseases listed on their websites and include things like what symptoms would you have or what testing would you need done to be diagnosed with this disease. The goal would be that you start with a huge number of non-communicable diseases, and then as you get more and more information on a patient, you should be able to narrow that pool of possibilities down to such a narrow margin that you can only pick one. Your other goal is going to be finding a group or a partner. In the real world, the medical community does not work in isolation. Doctors usually have partners in practice that will be similar to like your intimate group. In this case, because we have pretty small numbers, you're going to be working in just partners or groups of 3. They work as a clinic together, and they bounce their ideas off of one another. They help one another. But doctors also work in a broader collaborative community where they get second opinions, they share resources and knowledge so that they can best serve their patients. So once your group has diagnosed this patient with a particular disease, you will then have to work with the other group in class to confer and make sure that you have the same diagnosis. Perhaps the other group says it's a different disease than your group does. You're going to have to work together and do some additional research to find out who's right and maybe who's wrong, or maybe you need some additional information to decide, oh, we missed that. We need some more information to decide between these 2 diseases. That's possible too. So your 2 goals for today are to make yourself a list of resources where you can look up symptoms and come up with a diagnosis, And your second job is to come up with group members. Once you have your group members, please write them down on a sticky note and give them to the substitute. I will be back on Wednesday, and we will get started in this experiment and inquiry of patient case studies. See you Wednesday, guys.